Madam Speaker.
You're live. Thank you for coming. We are taking a break from the floor to have a discussion, this Democratic Caucus on H606, which is the firearms procedures bill. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, everybody. I asked to divide the vote.
Can everyone hear? No.
I asked.
Yes.
I'm Mark Malone from the South Burlington, representative South Burlington, chair of the House Judiciary Committee. So the rationale is that sections 1, 2, 4, and 5, we really did not have hardly any concerns. In fact, interestingly, entity, somebody spokesperson for gun owners of Vermont, even suggested that was the right way to deal with firearms laws, even though would not support the bill because they're very Second Amendment purists. But nevertheless, so we put that one aside. Any kind of concerns have mainly been expressed with respect to section 3, which is the prohibited person and mental health. I think those concerns are unfounded. Just very briefly, and you'll probably hear this multiple times during debate, that what we're doing with the prohibited persons section, it mirrors federal law, but is actually less restrictive than federal law. And it allows individuals who have been found to be a danger to themselves or others by a court of law, clear and convincing evidence standard, that such an individual probably shouldn't have a firearm. It's really that straightforward. And if the person is not subject to such an order, they should get their firearm back. Also straightforward, except if it's federal law, you have to go through a whole process to get your firearms back. So it really, it was at the request of the prosecutors that we have this tool for them because the feds don't necessarily prosecute that issue very often. Our prosecutors want to have that as a tool. So that's why I think that it shouldn't be a concern. It shouldn't be controversial, but apparently it is. So I think we're both happy to answer any questions.
Can we just, and I just want to confirm, we are voting on section 3 first,
Right.
and then sections 1 and 2. And can you just talk about the effective dates?
I will be correcting my request for division. That was my first one after 12 years. I've never done that. Very exciting. So on section 3, I'm going to clarify that it's section 3 and any associated effective date. So if that one passes and the others don't, we'll have an effective date. So I will clarify that when we get back in chamber.
One other question, can you just talk about then how we're going to vote on the bill as a whole?
So we will have section 3 first. We'll have a vote on that. I'm hoping that everybody will be there. We can have a strong voice vote so that we don't have to go to a division and possible roll call. And then we will go ahead, however that one turns out, we'll vote on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we will vote on the bill as a whole. Okay.
Go for it.
So I'm going to want the Washington. Yeah. Just question for clarity on section 3. Is that permanently not owned or is that temporarily not owned?
It is, there's 2 parts. It's not that confusing, so I'll really quickly talk about. If you have an order of hospitalization or non-hospitalization, when that order expires or they're discharged from that, then one can have their firearms back. There's another component of it that if somebody is found not guilty by reasons of insanity or incompetent to stand trial, and the underlying crime would, if they were convicted of the underlying crime, they would not be able to have a firearm. In that situation, there's a petition process to be able to have your firearms come back. So it's not even permanent in that situation. There's a different process.
That's not.
But again, it is Angela or Senator said, it is still permanent under federal law.
Right.
So when we're talking about the automatically, regaining your rights to possession or ownership, we're talking about state law.
Thank you. And the other question would be, the person who is, and I think this is a simple one, so it might be asking us to break it down a little bit deeper. Thereby, the individual who has been found to be harm to themselves, is that temporary or permanent?
That you're referring then to an order of hospitalization or hospitalization. So it would be temporary until the order expires.
I'm not sure, could you explain?
You please hold it up.
Could you explain what the opposition, the basis for opposition is, given that it is more lenient?
I don't know.
Any other questions? As a reminder, the committee vote on this was favorable for all sections, so we asked for your support on the first vote for section 3 and the effective date, the second vote on sections 1 and 2, and then, am I saying that wrong?
No, I want to be a little more anymore.
Okay.
So individual people are concerned of individuals who have an order of non-hospitalization. It's like, hey, they're safe enough to be in the community getting treatment. Why shouldn't they be able to have a firearm? Well, they still have been found by very convincing evidence to be a danger to themselves or others. And so they shouldn't have a firearm. So that's one thing I think I've heard, and there is concern that we don't have enough facilities for people to be committed and held in order of hospitalization. And so that's kind of it. It's been concerns about that. But again, we always go back to the fact that this is less restrictive than federal law and the prosecutor requested this. Yes, please.
And one more thing about that, the whether or not someone is subject to an order of hospitalization or non-hospitalization is not, our laws state that they must be held or not held, as it were, in the least restrictive environment appropriate. And whether or not they should have a firearm is not a factor in that consideration. The baseline is they are a person in need of treatment, they are found to be a danger or risk of harm to themselves or others. That's true for whether it's an ONH or an order of non-hospitalization or hospitalization.
Got a couple questions.
Rebecca Winsky, also here. I just wanted to say thank you because I know that this is section 3 in particular is of great interest because we're talking about equal.
Mom is out of mics.
Can everybody hear me? You need a mic.
I just wanted to say thanks for your diligence in working on that section because I really appreciate that you are in many ways nodding to clinical acknowledgement that a person is a danger to themselves or to others. And then it sounds like the other situation where a person with a mental illness can have a gun in alliance with criminal statute, correct?
Can you ask that question again?
So one condition where an individual would not be able to have a firearm is if they are a danger to themselves or others, and the other is if it aligns with criminal statute, like it's felony that they are being charged with, but they are insanity.
Right, so when in cases of incompetence to stand trial or not guilty by reason of insanity, there is an underlying criminal offense, violent criminal offense. And the consideration was, I know that Representative Donahue, who works a lot on this portion of the bill, will also speak to this on the floor, that there was, deep careful consideration of the fact that, in fact, this person was in some cases adjudicated, in some cases not getting all the way to adjudication, but certainly charged with or adjudicated to be, found to be guilty of a violent criminal offense.
Right, so my point is, thank you for making this as equitable as possible for folks with mental illnesses. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, because the question was, where did the concern come from? So I'll yield along again. And I just wanted to say that I did have concerns because of the penalization of people with mental health, and that was a high concern for me. Explicitly because of the onus on where the accessibility comes from. And that was a concern for me. I don't know if many of you know, there was a situation that happened in my community a couple of years ago with a person experiencing mental health challenges, was a ward of the state, and is still sitting, as far as I know, has still not been sentenced or has gone through trial, but has been awaiting, not receiving the services they need. And there was no culpability to the parents who did not have their firearm safety secured, nor to the state to whom they were a ward of the state. And so for me, it was a matter of where are we putting the penalties and how are we penalizing people who are suffering further than promoting ability for them to get treatment. So that was my issue. And so I will be very transparent in my dismay to that. So thank you for explaining the clarity that it is temporary. And also for people who undergo circumstances, whether it be extenuating restrictions for work or whatever, and they have to go through a court order because it's part of their process in order for their judgment, right? But not because that is their way of life and they are in fact by a person, but it's part of the way our criminal justice systems work. And so those were the concerns that I was looking at. And so if anyone was wondering, and you have any more questions, feel free to ask me, but that is where my concerns.
Fair enough. Yep.
Thank you for that, Representative Vermont, and I will say hopefully
You need to go back.
negligent storage. We don't have safe storage law, but we do have negligent storage law, and hopefully that will be considered.
All right, we are due back on the floor, so I want to repeat, wait before everyone goes. The committee did vote this out favorably, so we ask for your support on sections 3 with the effective date. The next vote will be on sections 1 and 2, and then the third vote will be for the whole bill. Vote
1, 2, 4, and 5, sections.
1, 2, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 4, and 5. On the second one?
Yeah.
And then vote to send it to third reading. So we ask for your support, and we're due back on the floor. And remember, the bill report has been read, so the vote